The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It is the second day of October 2025. Thank you for keeping it the Alternative Dig Talk TV. My name is Kenneth Rwemirembe Watimira. This is the Mighty Global News Updates, a moment we take you through the stories that are shaping conversations early this morning in our country, Uganda, and sometimes even what is happening abroad. Thank you for keeping it Dig Talk TV. We thank you so much, and we really hope you're having a very bright day out there. If it is not that bright, we pray that God makes it bright for you, and that's the reason we are here to give you the best information, the only information you can rely on to make an informed decision. This is the Mighty Drive. It always runs Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and I do present to you the Mighty Global News Updates, and then the Mighty Drive continues up to 10 a.m. Thank you so much for being part of us. We have a lot of stories. We just learned that Alien Skin was arrested. We learned about that yesterday, and we have a lot of stories to do tell you. Just be part of us and smash that subscribe button. Join us and be part of this amazing platform that millions of people trust each day. Now, beginning with the story of Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye. He was brought to High Court yesterday before Justice Emmanuel Baguma. But things didn't move on well or as expected by the team, by Dr. Kizza Besigye's team. On arrival, amid tight security, people started shouting and chanting, especially those supporting Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye, and the security at the court forced them to be silent, saying that wasn't a rally, and then the proceedings had to continue. But inside the courtroom, things were not that right. The legal team for Dr. Kizza Besigye was not satisfied with Justice Baguma's statement. Before Dr. Kizza Besigye asked to present some issues to the court, but he was not given that opportunity, saying he could not raise some concerns by himself without using his legal team or his lawyers, something that Dr. Besigye's legal team said it was very unfair and that there was no law that could stop Dr. Kizza Besigye from speaking about himself or raising his concerns and bringing those concerns to the court's presence. But that was not, that did not happen. They did not allow Dr. Kizza Besigye to speak about what he wanted to speak, saying he should at least do that in writing. He should write and then submit his submission through writing to the judge, Justice Emmanuel Baguma, saying he could not speak about what he wanted to speak about directly to the judge in the court. They said that was the ruling of the judge, Justice Emmanuel Baguma. He said he had to present, he had to submit through writing. Something many people said it was very unfair, and they said that there was no reason as to why Dr. Kizza Besigye would be denied that opportunity to speak about what he wanted to speak about, much as he has lawyers. This has not been the first time the legal team of Dr. Kizza Besigye has complained about the judge. In this case, Justice Emmanuel Baguma, saying he is biased, he is not doing things the right way. They have always asked him to step aside from this case, but he has said he was there to stay and he was not ready to go anywhere else. They are saying he is in this case to just deny Dr. Kizza Besigye justice with Hajo Bedlu Tale, as they are all accused of treason charges and some other high offenses in that court. They say this is not fair and they are not ready to keep quiet. And the judge asked them to come back on 8th of this very month for other hearings, but he asked him to come with his submission or his concerns written on paper, and he should present it to the judge himself. Then the judge would give response. Many people are saying this is unfair, but that's how it is, and we will keep you informed on what will be happening over there. Now, moving away from that, the National Unity Platform team is saying the police, especially the traffic police, is being partisan. They are not fair. They are saying they have been accused of breaking traffic rules, but that is not what they do. Or even other political candidates, that they have also been violating traffic rules, but the police is not talking about them. They say that the police is only focusing on the National Unity Platform, which they said that is unfair. We saw some time back Kituma Rusoke, who is the police spokesperson, saying that he was, the police was ready to now curb this vice of violating traffic rules, saying that these presidential candidates especially are violating these rules. People are moving anyhowly, the roads are being blocked, and wherever these politicians do pass, they disrupt the environment, which puts the life of those in the campaign rallies at stake. Even those who are just not part of the campaign team but are just moving on their own business, they are also being affected, and it could cost their lives. Now the police says they will not tolerate that, they will stop them. In a footage that was being shown by police, they show the NUP team blocking the road, driving recklessly, which they said they were this time round going to stop at any cost possible. Now the NUP came out and said this has been done by even the NRM team, but no one is talking about them. Something they say should be stopped if it is to be blamed on political candidates. Even NRM should be blamed, even other candidates in the race should be blamed. The police said they will not be stopped. They don't think everyone has been violating these rules. Police says they know the person or the team that has been violating these traffic guidelines clearly, and they are now ready to stop them from doing that. Joel Senyonyi also came out and said some of the mistakes that have been made during these campaign rallies, they say is out of excitement from the supporters who get extremely excited and sometimes violate the traffic guidelines. But the NUP always issues out briefing to the people who always follow the president or their party president wherever he goes. As you are seeing on the screen, the police says if this is not stopped as early as possible, it could cost people's lives. And the police says they are now more than ready to stop that at all costs. Now moving on, all presidential candidates that were successfully nominated by the Electoral Commission are doing their campaign. Some of the successful political presidential candidates, we had General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tuhabura representing the National Resistance Movement. We had Mabirizi Joseph representing the Conservative Party. We had Nathan Nandala Mafabi James representing the Forum for Democratic Change. And we also had Mugisha Grigore Muntu Oyera, who is now representing the Alliance for National Transformation. We also have Munyagwa Mbaraka Serunga representing the Common Man's Party, as well as Bulila Frank Kabinga representing the Revolutionary People's Party. All these people are now traversing the country trying to garner support that would probably make them Uganda's next president. Now we are waiting to see who will take it on top, but as we speak, General Mugisha Muntu yesterday said he is now mobilizing his supporters to now help him raise funds to run these campaigns. He said all the supporters, even those from outside Alliance for National Transformation, probably those from other political parties like NUP, FDC, and other political parties who believe in his agenda, should help the party raise funds. And he says people should help their political parties to run campaigns, saying if they only leave this to politicians or the leaders of the political parties, it could ruin things. He said that he would have money from foreign countries, but he says that money comes with strings attached, which could cost the country somehow negatively. He said now the people themselves should be part of this campaign to raise funds that would help in campaigns, and he also promised to give out the accountability for that money, also show what that money is going to do. He said Ugandans should be part of this and should help their own political parties, not to leave them for foreign countries to support, saying if they only welcome in money from outside countries, they could come with strings attached. For instance, he said there are people who do human trafficking, and they would be ready to support all the political parties with all the money they would want, saying that if they give out that money and they accept them as a political party, when probably he's in office, he would have to deliver according to the needs of these people who give out money, especially these foreign people or people from abroad. Now he is urging all Ugandans to be part of this great campaign and help the Alliance for National Transformation raise funds for campaigns. He is not the first person to do that. We saw the NUP doing the same some time back, and they were trying to raise funds for their campaigns as well. Some political parties have been doing that. However, we do not know whether his plans will be successful, if the ruling government would not disrupt, or even the people will be part of this and help the Alliance for National Transformation raise enough funds. Because of time, allow me to take you to another story of Honorable Medad Lubega Segona, who has now promised to come as independent. This comes after he was denied the party ticket for Busiro East, NUP member of Parliament now, coming on the NUP card. He was denied that card, and he has now vowed to come as independent. He says he is more qualified than anyone in this race, and there is nothing that can stop him from delivering the best to Uganda and to even his area, Busiro East. Now, of course, he was not given that card by the NUP, probably due to reasons that are not yet clear. The leadership of NUP says they follow their own guidelines, they follow people power. So if they realize that someone doesn't have that people power, then probably they could not give them the card. But we cannot ascertain that that was the main reason as to why this happened. Some people have been saying that he might have lost the card probably because he had a clear or a good relationship with the leader of the Democratic Front, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, something that many say probably could have costed him the card. He wasn't too royal to Principal Robert Kyagulanyi, but Honorable Segona says he has done all the best for NUP, and if they have chosen to repay him that way, he cannot just settle. When his very people are saying he should come back, we saw yesterday that his supporters came to his home and asked him to stand as independent. Some actually saying they could even take him to court if he never came as independent, or he never came back to represent Busiro East. Now in this race, he has Honorable Mathias Mpuuga. He has Honorable Walkaga, Mathias Walkaga, and Abdu Chiyimba, who is also, Honorable Abdu Chiyimba is having the NRM card, so, and Mathias Walkaga has the NUP card. So even others would be coming in as independents, but so far these are the people we know, and they will be in this race with Honorable Medad Segona. We are waiting to see how this goes. Will he leave the race, or he is going to continue as an independent, or will he even get the support required and become the next member of parliament for Busiro East? That is if the people of Busiro East do choose him as their leader once again. Thank you so much for being part of us. I urge you to tap that like button on your screen and help this great conversation move to your next friend. But now moving on, Honorable Nandala Mafabi yesterday clashed with police. Police tried to stop him as he was heading to Iganga. Police said he never had to use certain routes. Police tried to stop him, but he said he was not ready to stop, by all means, saying he had followed all the rules the Electoral Commission had given him, and he said he was not ready to just step down like that. We saw police tried to run after him, trying to stop him, even turn off his sound system, saying he was disrupting the area. However, this did not stop him from continuing to his rally that he had prepared in Jinja, where he spoke to thousands of people, saying he is now ready to deliver the best for Uganda and make Uganda a new country, everything will be new, saying he will improve the health sector, the infrastructure, and so many other things. Every candidate, as I told you when I was just starting, is now fighting so hard to get enough support and probably take over the biggest office in the country, that is the president's office. Elton Mabidis was also in Hoima, Museveni was in Amolata district. Everyone is fighting so hard to keep it to the top. We saw Museveni ask people to support him, fight corruption, saying, please, people, be part of this fight. Let us fight corruption together. He said Ugandans should be part of the struggle or part of this fight against corruption, saying the people are the ones who are always near the corrupt leader, so they can help him better than he could as the president, probably, who is up there in the executive. So the people should be part of this struggle. Every candidate is fighting so hard indeed to make it to the top. We'll be giving you more information about that, but let me give you the story of famous singer Alien Skin, also whose real names are Patrick Mulwana. We learned that he was arrested. Patrick Mulwana is arrested on allegations that he directed his gang to assault Namuwaya Winfred. The police said he is at Katwe police station. This happens after Alien Skin himself went to the Director of Crime Intelligence, AIGP Christopher Damolida, who later sent him to Katwe Police Station for statement recording, and up to now he is not yet out. According to trusted sources, we have learned that he is still there. This was confirmed by the Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Patrick Onyango. This is not the first time Singalien Skin has been taken to to jail because of assaulting people and some acts of indiscipline. We are waiting to see how this goes this time round, if he remains there, or is there any thing that we need to know from that side. We'll be letting you know if that information gets out. Just trust us and be our #1 follower by tapping that subscribe button, joining us and joining the tens of thousands of people that subscribe to this mighty platform. I can't thank you enough for being part of us from the very beginning of the mighty global news updates up to this very minute, where I want to leave you with the princess. She is already in studios here to give you the best. The mighty drive continues. I'm Kenneth Rwemirembe Rubatsimbira.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Spotted church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
A very good morning. Farida.How is my name. I welcome you to the Mighty Drive. We'll be here every day, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. We'll be discussing matters of national importance, and today we are going to be talking economics. We are talking money. We are going to be talking free markets and how those taxes are going to be, we are going to get all the advices from a libertarian point of view. For them, they advocate for free markets. They do not want the government intervention. They feel like, allow the people to determine what that looks like. But also in their policies or strategies, we find that the poor people are always left behind. So we will need to understand how do they plan to involve the poor, because in such strategies, many times the poor will always remain the poor, and the elites, those who have the money, will go all with the big share and nothing will happen. So we are going to be analyzing that and a lot more. We are looking at the politics of the country. I want to welcome you all from the presidential nominations. I was reporting live from Olubowa. I hope you got all the updates that you needed to know. But also I want to inform you the campaigns started, the presidential campaign started on Monday. You should follow your candidates, listen to their, listen to what they want to offer. And now gauge, is that the right candidate? Or you need to think and maybe look at another candidate. Because this is the time for you to interrogate those candidates. Ask them the necessary questions. Let them answer you. Don't fear to ask your candidate questions. Because if you fear now, then when it comes January 12th, when we'll be casting that vote for the president, you might cast the vote to the wrong candidate. So as they are going out there, as they are coming to you, asking for votes, ask them those necessary questions. Listen to how they want to solve your issues. Are those the solutions you are looking for? Some of them are offering you solutions without realizing or understanding the problems that you are facing. They will come with the solution without even sitting with you and understanding, is that what you want? Is that the problem that is really, really at heart that you want to be solved? So that and more, this is the time. And NUP today is in Busoga. I think Namutumba and Bujiri. Yeah, CP, Common Man's Party is also in Busoga. I think NRM is up there. So wherever the candidate is, find them. Ask them the real questions, the necessary questions, such that when it comes to the day of casting your vote, you know when and whom to vote for, because you would have listened to what they are going to offer. And in studios, I have Mr. Odong Arthur. he is a libertarian. He's a team leader at AFODI. He will be giving us the definition of AFODI, what they stand for and what they are advocating for. I welcome you, Mr. Arthur, and I am really humbled to be sitting with you discussing the economics of the country from a libertarian point of view.
Thanks very much. I'm so much humbled for being here. And for our listeners outside there, we are so much happy and delighted for this very platform to disseminate information and knowledge for the betterment of society. And that is the key aspect of it. Thanks very much once again.
We want to first know the definition of AFOD. As a team leader, what is that standing for?
All right. AFODI is just an abbreviation for Action for Development Initiative. Okay. And yes, it's a think tank, largely a think tank, and that is premised on the foundations of entrepreneurship, free markets, and liberty, because we do understand that such philosophies are the footprint in scaling and elevating the essence of society. And as we go deeper in the discussions, just as I heard from your introduction, that try to pinpoint a little bit of some economic policies and systems that try to govern our society. Yeah, yes. And basically that's what we largely go in. And then we approach this with 3 focus areas. That is, one, we have research and advocacy. That is so key, because we do understand that the economy does not only scale on simple skilling and the likes, but rather advocacy is key, because we have a policy environment, we have the other market, practical market environment. Those are 2 important avenues that have to meet together and scale together for development to happen. So that's why skilling does not run alone. Of course, skilling and entrepreneurship capacity building is also part of our initiatives that we do. And then advocacy, that is so much key. And then research, because there is continuous growth that is necessary. There is there is this continuous advancement in society. Policies may reach a point that have to be rethought through. That's why, continuous research and engagement is key. And our approach, of course, has different diversities and the scope and the demographics. We have the scholars that we largely engage, because these are the foundation, these are the steady mark for the next policy environment. They're the next market thinkers, they're the next market operators. Then of course we have the business segment, definitely those who are practically into the business, though we do also understand that we are all participants in the market, whether in politics, whether into the tourism, whatsoever aspect, we are all victims to the market. And as we go on, we shall actually share largely about that. I think that's a nutshell about it. Though I also want to appreciate that we don't work alone. There are many other think tanks in the country that we collaborate with, yes, that are so much key into this space of the free market avenue.
Thank you. Our theme today that we are going to run this show is how to build a sustainable economic muscle amidst the prevailing opportunities and challenges. But when you look at Uganda's Vision 2040, it has ambiguous development plans right there. But also, we're looking at development plans looking at to increase the Uganda's GDP by 10-fold. That means we are standing at 65, and we will do see in 2040 our GDP standing at 168, I think, in reference to what Dr. Mvala was telling us the other day. But also, if we are looking at the libertarian style of economy that they want to have for Uganda, to them, they champion for free markets. They want individual freedom, but also they want minimal government intervention, which is not as practical in Uganda. Because as a country, we are prevailing in a mixed economy. Should we say that it is an obstacle to Uganda's development?
Okay, well, I think before we start looking at the entire market system of the free market and the likes, we have to understand how does the market or the economy come into formulation. We have to understand that this begins from the individual. It's the individuals who create and trade wealth.
True.
Then, of course, because the individuals do not exist alone in society, they do interact with other individuals. That's whereby they form what they call societies. Now, when you understand that wealth creation, creating value and trading value commences from the individual, now that's when now we have to understand what are the necessary factors for the individual to create and trade value. Definitely there has to be freedom. The individual has to be free to think, free to create, free to reason, and free to exchange. Now that is the footprint of the entire free market that we talk about. Now, of course, we do understand that the individual is not, absolute in himself.
Yeah, true.
In my being free to think, free to create and the likes, I may be disastrous in one way or the other. So now there are rules or laws that have to be in place to ensure I do coexist with my colleagues and not to harm them. That my transaction with you must be a win-win. Now
It doesn't harm you, it doesn't harm me.
Yes,
Okay.
it has to be a win-win. Now there are laws in place. Now these laws have to enable that even if I have a comparative advantage, because of course we trade at comparative advantages.
Yes.
The fact is, let's say, case in point is Digitalk has, a media room, and so that's an advantage to Digitalk. So it communicates and exchanges news and information to our public. Now that's a comparative advantage that Digitalk has, and then the public has the audience that have to listen.
Yeah.
Now there are laws that have to be in place to ensure Digitalk does not insult maybe the public, and then also there should be rules
It
that
doesn't
the public
also have to misinform.
Yes,
Because
there
it has the platform to do that.
yeah, and there should also be laws to protect the Digitalk from the public in case they want to come and
But
ban down
also
Digitalk
protect the
and the
public
likes.
from data.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that law there has to be a party that has to oversee the law.
Okay.
Now that's whereby the limited government comes in. Now the limited government is to come and oversee this law, that if we are into an agreement, if we are into a partnership of working together in the market, then it has to be a win-win. I should not use my comparative advantage or take advantage of your ignorance.
So the government doesn't have to determine the prices, doesn't have to do anything about the trade and all that is happening in the market. We want the government within the law and enforcement area alone.
Yeah, because you do understand that the government should actually be a referee and not a player in the market.
Oh.
There are two things. A referee only officiates. There are rules of the game that when the ball crosses the line, it's outside the game. So the referee will not kick for you the free kick. The referee will not carry the goalpost and take it to the other corner so that this team can score. The government should be a referee in the market. That the players...
I wait to blow the whistle when you go offside, you overstep.
Red card you when you're actually sabotaging your other colleague or the likes. That's what actually the government should do. That the government's intervention in the market should be to referee the market and not to directly participate or trade in the market. Yes.
Wow. So does that kind of market protect the people? How does the government benefit from such kind of economy?
Well, first of all, most times we are talking about a government. That's why I had to break it down from the individual then to society.
Then society and then to...
Now, how does the government come in place? The government comes in place to foresee the coexistence of individuals in a harmonious environment. Because when there are no individuals, there is no government.
True.
And when there is no individual, there is no society. Now, when we talk about how does the government benefit, it's to us trying to assume a government is another sort of immortal existing entity. But the government is made by individuals, and individuals who live within the society. Now, how does, let's now categorize how the government benefits when, first of all, there is harmony, there is trade and exchange. Definitely, we do understand that when the government is to come and be a referee in this entire play, we believe in minimal taxation. Now, why it is a limited government to oversee this, there are small taxes that have to be remitted to ensure this government is solely limited to only do that. But in such a situation whereby government comes and not only be the referee, but rather becomes a dictator and trying to create a monopoly, put price ceilings and the likes, government assumes way more responsibilities now. That becomes a big government. Our interpretation of a big government is a government that assumes roles that are way beyond what it's supposed to do. If a government starts assuming let's say, construct schools, to construct hospitals, which private individuals can do. Now, what will government do? The government will justify taxing people more to do those things. And before you know, it gets deeper into the pockets of the individuals.
Yeah.
And claim to do what? Claim to build schools, claim to supply food and the likes. Yet, if government was only limited in protecting the laws and the like, and then ensuring security, a harmonious environment, and ensuring rule of law is good into practice, and ensuring the roads that enable us to trade are in place, and leaves the other roles that private individuals can do to keep in play. Thank you.
Can't that an economy constrain other people that do not have the power, or doesn't it create, you know, clusters of people? Now this one has much, and then there is a group of people that doesn't have to participate because they do not have maybe the upper hand in such an economy. I feel like it creates classes.
Okay, well, it's first of all sort of a false utopia for us to think equality is a real thing.
Oh.
Equality is a scam. That is the thing. We are unequal. That's one thing. But then in us being unequal, it's the reason why we trade. I trade because I have it and you don't have it, but you have what I have, what I want.
The reason that we know that we are unequal, that is why we advocate for equity. But in your kind of economy, I don't really feel there is equity.
Okay, equity is an objective aspect, and that's very interesting. Now, equity is more of an environmental enabling factor.
Thank you.
Now, this is what we're trying to elaborate. Now, a case in point is, equity is when the rules favor all of us equally. The
True.
best person who does the best in that rule wins. Now, equality is in this way that you all have to have equal outputs, irrespective of the inputs. We have to understand that equity is the best landscape, and the free market system offers equity, that the best player will always win. Now, the laws are there to ensure it's an enabling environment for everyone. That when they say less taxes, it should not be less taxes on maybe the poor, and then maybe you put high taxes on the rich and the likes. Let it be less taxes. Whoever can break it through, yes, let it apply equally to everyone. If they say when the ball crosses this line and you're two players in the market, and then you say, oh, for the other team, when the ball goes up to the other corner, it's when it is an offside or it is outside ball. Let the laws apply equally, and the best will always win. You know, it comes back to that aspect of equity, that with equity, actually, the best will always win, and those that want to fail, or those who are not the best in their own play, will always lose. That's it. But that is the beauty of the market, that your deficiency enables my trade to make you sufficient. We trade differences if we have to understand that. That I cannot make this shirt myself, but I can raise the money somewhere else with my comparative advantage. Now I go to the one who is making the shirt, and we do a win-win exchange. That is why we trade. We trade our differences. Yes.
Because in my own perspective of equity, it is like we are operating in an environment where you have the money, and I do not have the money, but we are all doing the same business. So I hope that there should be incentives put in place to help me elevate me to the level that you are, for us to trade freely and fairly. Okay, and now that becomes disastrous. Now that's what gives the government more power and justification to infringe on people's freedoms and rights. Now what should be done in that play? Remove the barriers that could be hindering this, not an incentive. You know, this is a scenario. I visited a gentleman one time and talking about equality and equity, and brought some caps and said, okay, there is a tall person and then there is a short one. Now what you do, there is a wall here that is blocking them from watching football. That what you do is bring a cap, carry this one and put. I told the gentleman, please remove the wall, let all of them watch the game. Why assume a responsibility of building a cap, and where are you getting the resources to build this cap? Or you want to cut the legs of this one who is tall to come down. Now that is the kind of reason. I'll actually bring like two blocks to the short one, rise to the level of the tall one. Where do you get the resources to set up the 2 blocks? That's where we really want to get deeper. And we have to understand this, fellow countrymen, that as much as we think government has the resources, we need to understand where does the government has the primary sources of income. 1, taxation. Exactly. 2, they borrow. 3, they print. Yeah. Now, when we come to those 3 aspects, and we look at them, like to sensibly look at them in the economy, when the government borrows money, it's the citizens that pay back with the taxes, right? When the government is taxing, of course, when it has borrowed more money, it has to tax more. When it taxes more, it robs people of their own growth capacity. And then 3, when the government prints money, what happens? There is inflation. So government has 3 major sources of income. Now, as much as we think it has a lot of money, it gets back to us. Does that mean in your kind of economy we shall not experience the taxes and the borrowing?
No, definitely taxes will be in place. But now the taxes, as we talked of limited government, limited roles, which means limited expenditure. Now definitely the taxes will be minimal. That is the entire school of thought.
Looking at how our economy is running as of today, what are those things that you would point out that are really stagnating our development?
Okay, well, the first important thing should be ease of doing business. The ease of doing business. Uganda actually ranks 116 out of 119 that the study based on in 2019 up to date.
Oh.
Now, you have to understand that ease of doing business premises on some of the things. How quick is it easier for someone to formalize? You understand, when the business is not formal, it's out of the economic radar.
True.
And then two, how quick, because with the formalization, it's how quick, how cheap, and the likes. It is for someone to formalize and trade, because when you're formal, you can scale the business. Yeah. When you're formal, even when you have a stall in the market, you can easily supply hotels, you can easily export when you're formal.
Because it is easily to deal with you.
Yes, when you're formal, you're in the economic radar. And then the other aspect is exports and imports. Now, how easy is it for goods to be exported from the country? That's open markets, that's expansion.
Oh.
You'll have to understand that Uganda ranks poorly. Now, you asked a beautiful question of, what could be the pain points or the things to fix into the economy. Yeah. First and foremost, I think, is government to a little bit limits its intervention in the market. A situation whereby a government is coming in and starting to award roads as a government and not obeying the rules of the game of bidding. A company to bids, goes through all the criteria and the likes, and they win and earn it. That is one aspect where a government comes and says, okay, we are giving this holiday, we are giving this.
This company is going to do the Entebbe Express because maybe they feel it is the best company to do that.
But did it go through the evaluation process to get it? Or it was
handpicked.
Now, that is the issue, that it suffocates equal competition. It suffocates the competitive environment. Yet, free markets benefit from competition. That with competition, someone will come with the same quality but a cheaper price. So you go with that better offer. Because one thing with evaluation, at least I've been lucky to be in the construction industry, is they issue all the contracts, they issue all the documents and the designs of the contract, the way the construction is needed. Now you make your proposal that I can do it for this much. I can do this for this much. Now the one who has the better offer in terms of technical capacity, and then also, because you have the plans with you, you have the designs with you that you have to obey to build.
True.
Okay? So you can't tell me that, I handpick someone else just because. Yet there would be someone else who has a better offer and would help the economy save something.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that kind of handpicking, I heard the president, the president has some statements to make when people come out, point out things that aren't going the right way. He said he has trusted companies to do stuff without him interfering in the bidding process, but also they have always disappointed him. That is why you are seeing the UPDF construction said doing a lot of constructions in Kampala, along Kampala roads, because he trusts them, and maybe they achieve. So we would say that the bidding and all that fairness that you are advocating for brings about some kind of I do not want to use the word that would sound, but the president doesn't really feel appeased or pleased with the results that come out. But looking at the economy as it is, we said, well, it isn't taking us anywhere. So us moving from the mixed economy that we are prevailing into to the economy that you are advocating for, what do we need to do?
Yes. First, to get back to what you said, I'll come to the question about the president saying he doesn't trust this. It should not be the president to trust.
It should be who should
he should question the systems in place.
The systems, maybe the systems are not working.
And who oversees the systems?
He himself, the reason why he came up with the solution.
Okay. Okay, that's a beautiful, amazing thing. But then it's also important for the country to know that, yes, the decision to some point of the engineering brigade fully taking on all the government construction and the likes was a little bit limited, because initially the engineering brigade, according to the declarations, was supposed to take over all the public contracts, okay? But of course, you do understand that since most of the money comes through, financing and the likes, and has to be paid back, but then logically it's the private sector that has to pay back. It's the one that is taxed to pay back. So some of the decisions were lowered a bit. It's now the engineering brigade largely handles contracts that are largely funded by the government. But if they are funded by, let's say, Africa Development Bank and the likes, then the procedure the private entities have to play in, or it has to be a public-private partnership. So the private sector definitely has to also have a play in, because it's the private sector that pays the taxes, that have to pay back the borrowed money and the loans.
Everything.
Yes, and then of course, coming to the question, you said the mixed economy is doing well and good. No,
I'm not saying it is doing well. Don't let people come for me thinking I am advocating for a mixed economy. Well, I am not an economist, but when we look at things, and looking at our Agenda 2040, looking at the NDB, the National Development Plan 4?
Yeah, this is the last quarter.
Well, you see that we know where we're headed. We are seeing where we're headed.
Yes, you see, as we are coming to talk about that, you'll find the bias this country or people have garnered about free markets is because there's that aspect of when the government comes and fully plays into the game, and then it gives other individuals leeway to thrive in the market, and that creates a harm to the free markets. That you'll see, so-and-so is thriving because they are blocking a certain importation of goods so that someone's products can excel in the market, and now people blame it on free markets. They say, it's because of the monopoly being created, but then that one infringes on the entire integrity of free markets, because if it is free markets, it's competition. That yes, for you have an enabling environment to create locally, but also let's open up. Now, it's the consumer to choose. If I can get the same tiles, or if I can get the same bag from, let's say, a Kenyan company at the same price, let me choose. Do not.
So you are part of those fighting boo-boo, buy Uganda, build Uganda?
Now, I would have to say this. I'm neither pro or against boo-boo. If boo-boo is good quality, I'll buy it. If it is not, my only problem
if it isn't, don't buy those that are importing stuff.
Yes. My only issue is, do not stop my diversity of consumption just because you have the power to stop a certain product to come to my display, just because you have control, and only limit me to boo-boo. You're limiting my consumption capacity, you're limiting my preferences. Now I cease to be free to choose because you have only conditioned me to look at boo-boo. But my issue is, if I am passionate enough and a patriot, that patriotism is part of the incentives I'm attaching to buying a boo-boo product more expensive, then I'll buy the boo-boo. Definitely I'm a country. But do not, condition me, seize off my freedom to also look at other options that could be in the market, just because you are conditioning me to the boo-boo. Now that's the entire philosophy of free markets. That at the end of it all, I'm not stopping you from putting in good campaigns for boo-boo, buy Uganda and build Uganda. But I'm against you trying to sabotage and, sniffle me into a confinement that only boo-boo is what I have to know.
If we are not concentrating on the freedoms, let us look at the bigger picture of why the boo-boo and why the stopping of the imports. I think it is all about the development, because people were brainwashed, thinking that everything that comes from outside Uganda is of good quality and everything. So if that is stopped and we are making them concentrate on the things that are being made here, I think it is for the development of the country.
Okay, it's very good you've said they've been brainwashed and the likes, but then I think it's a matter of taste and preference. Now, here's the situation. Build the capacity of boo-boo to come and compete with this very capacity of what is coming in. Now, that is what people actually so much agitate for as protectionism, and thinking protectionism gives you a greater safe space, to scale and the likes, and comes largely also into the gender space, whereby I, for one, I think, yes, I support gender, campaigns and the likes, but I don't agitate for the so-called welfare and the sympathy seeking. Like you see, you want sympathy. My only issue is I believe human beings have capacity. Now let the potential of the lady come to the play. If there were enabling environment that were favoring me as a gentleman and not a lady, remove that barrier that the lady will equally compete and play it in the space. Now that is what now.
You don't want these things that come with, you know, being a woman, because she's a woman, she should get this, and then you want us to compete favorably, fairly, or in an equal environment.
Yes, that is key. That gets the best out of all of us. That is what comes with competition. Now when competition comes, what options that competition brings cheaper, better or faster products in the market. Let's look at this. Self-border was in the market. I want to use now examples because people times. Now, if let's say a controlled market, self-border has a monopolistic power, that all citizens are conditioned, oh, self-border, do not stop. But now here, Faras comes, the same marketplace. Faras will still thrive in the same marketplace. Now look at the beauty now for the government. Self-border will pay taxes, Faras will pay taxes. They will keep paying their licenses, this will pay their licenses. Consumers will be getting consumption. Now, development is not just seeing structures and the likes. Development is improvement in the standards of living. If right now, as I was beating jam and the likes, I had to use a Faras to come here, okay? Now, traveling in that point of time, I'm getting a better privilege. That does not mean Union is not in the market. That does not mean Bolt is not in the market. That does not mean, self-border is not in the market. Now, all these diversities are there. They're thriving. They are employing people. Self-border may be employing roughly 100 people. Same is Faras. Same is Bolt. Same industry. But now, what if there was monopoly? Imagine that. This is what we want people to really roughly think.
But sometimes diversity stagnates development. There's this, there's that, there's that. But when you are concentrating on one thing, it has all the attention and the resources and everything.
Wow. Then that has to, for us to understand what's development. Development has more to do with flexibility, diversity, and the likes. So if it is confined, then it is not development.
Not kind of a confinement. You are being tough with your wording. It's not a confinement. It's just making people conditioned to do stuff the same way.
You see, development has more to do with scalability, right? And then how do I scale if I am tied to only one stuff? Now let me give you the example. A case in point is, I gave those examples of Faras and the likes, or even I can go to the mattresses. That there are very many brands of mattresses in the market. Now, if it was only one mattress brand in the market.
If it was only Rose Foam.
Now, picture that. Picture that, and then you say, it's good for design. Like, okay, it's design and standards. Now, this is what comes to the rule of law. That there are standards, even if there are diversities. The government has to ensure there are laws to ensure standards. Yeah, that's why there's UNB, That's why there are other entities that have to ensure all this. Now, despite the fact that you're bringing different mattresses, there are standards that should be in place, that they should be consumable for the local market.
Well, it is very hard to kind of be here and you want to, side with the government. You want to be on the side of the government because you will have to talk a lot. And when you have a libertarian in the studio, he will make you to talk because you want to defend the government. But well, in an economy that is going to be for the people, I am for the people. We are going into a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes. They meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are best all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. It is our second hour of the show. It is the Mighty Drive. We be here every day, Monday to Friday. But there are those days that you are not going to see us. But you will see us in other platforms. That doesn't mean that I'll come here and apologize for not, coming up here, because we are in a season of politics. That means other shows are not going to be, coming up. But you will see other events taking place on our platforms. We ask you that if you don't see the Mighty Drive, just, keep your eyes on our page. That means something bigger is coming up. In studios today, I have Mr. Odong Arthur. We are talking economics, we are talking money, we are talking markets, and I want to just now look at how the youth can survive in a free market economy, because we have always talked about the minority groups. So under the minority, we have the youth, we have the women. It is even actually not a good thing to say we are the minority groups and then we are making the biggest percentage of the population as the youth. It kind of, it doesn't sound right. But as a woman now, I'll come up and say we are a minority group. We need affirmative seats in parliament, and a libertarian here is saying no, we are removing all those. You need to compete favorably with everyone, which I think as a woman, that isn't for us. We need something to push us as women, because we, according to the Bible and the science, we are not, born the same as men. So, Mr. Libertarian, using your economy, could you paint for us a picture how a youth can survive in such an economy? Someone who is just coming out of university and they want to, start a business, and there is a lot of competition. We have someone who is, because in such an economy, it creates the big people, the big heads, those that have money. And now someone just wants to enter such an economy. They want to enter business. How am I protected?
Okay, thanks very much. And yes, as I come to the answer, I want to, first of all, it's my humble appeal to my fellow youth and the likes. I find it an insult, personally, if I'm being told, minority and the likes, because I think those are kind of allegations to weaken us and condition us to start lobbying for, welfare and the likes. Yet the youth, let's get to the statistics. Youth, we are the heavily populated stuff. Yes. And then look at our charisma. We are the energetic, versatile, we have the room to adapt and stuff. Definitely. How then really should we settle for that kind of judgment? Oh, minority, Like, to some point it makes it look like, okay, we have to keep our hands up and stuff. Fine, it's a personal kind of adaptation that I really don't think I shoot that test of minority.
You are right, you have the charisma, you have everything, but are you using it?
Yeah, personally I am. I don't know, maybe for my colleagues, but I think it comes back to how then do I see? Maybe my colleagues out there have accepted their minorities and they're operating as minorities. Personally, I really think I'm not a minority. Like definitely, I am the next stepping stone. I am the next big thing for the entire economy, the likes, stuff. But like, I am part of the greatest structure. That if I'm to grow, I have a market base of roughly over 78% of the people. Yes. How then should I really categorize myself as that's my own thinking and school of thought. Okay, now coming to this entire thing of, you know, how can someone supersede and come into and play into the economy with the entire thinking. First and foremost is we have to understand that the market that really has to scale is a system, okay? And systems have, you know, rules of the game and the stuff. Now, the first important thing is ignorance is not a place in that entire scope. Good enough, we have a lot of initiatives that we get to universities and campus to engage students and the likes. You'll come to understand that students in university have this promise of, oh, it's all green outside there. You know, I'm only looking for this so-called paper so that I go trade the paper.
If I get my degree from here, things will be good.
Yes, and we focus largely on how do I prepare my paper and go and sell my time. You know, the most important thing you sell in employment is your time.
And skills. Please.
Okay. The skills operate within the time. That's why they'll give you 9 to 5. And then they'll give you your authorized some leave. Yeah. So which means the most important thing is the time.
Yeah, true.
That you're only given some free leave, and if it was the skill, then you would even come for 1 hour, do it and go. If it is all about the skill. So it's the time that within the time they want to exploit the skill. Okay, anyway, it's not trying to...
If you are watching us, please don't take the choice of Mr. Arthur's wording. It's very, you know,
it's
murderous.
Not so much. It's a personal. Now, here's the thing. First of all, is understanding. You know, I am into interactions whereby largely of our youthful people are into informal trade and informal businesses. Now, here's the thing. Even in the informal business, it is hard to even be helped, either by any system of fair. Right? First of all, you have to understand, and no one will teach you how to formalize. That is the unfortunate part of the thing. At times, situation in school, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disband the education system. I did engineering. But then you'll find that the entire thing, they're teaching you how to design a building and that, but not teaching you how to get business. Yeah. Okay? Now, that becomes another different thing, that when you come out, someone has the company that gets the business. And for you, you go implementing with it. Yes. Now, you have to understand now, to do the business, you have to have the company. That's the formal entity.
If you want to learn to do the business, now you will go into another course of maybe business administration, business, something related to business.
Okay, that's beautiful. But then again, here I'm talking about these systems that enable you to do business. That is formalization, let's say legalizing, let's say a business name, a company and the likes. Now, the first important thing is, of course, to come to a play that... you know, ignorance is not a play system in the market. Oh. Yes, ignorance does not give you bonuses in the market. It's disastrous. It's actually a deficit in the market. That's one thing. And then two is after understanding that ignorance is not key, you have to understand the formality. You have to understand the bigger picture of how the market plays. If to trade, you have to be formal, then you have to know how do I formalize. And then now we have this bigger threat of people giving excuses of not formalizing just because of the taxes. Now, it's important that, yes, it's important. Of course, I know there are promises, okay, businesses have not made this revenue and the likes is not taxed and yes. Okay, these are so good. But then it's also key that before fearing the taxes, have you tried to learn how to file the taxes themselves? You know, I used to fear taxes, you know, here and there, but then I realized, oh, you can file taxes, and if you've made the losses and the likes, you file them off.
Don't I need another person to file for me the taxes and those down?
Now that's where the excuse of it's expensive to acquire an accountant to do that.
Exactly.
As an individual, you can learn this. That's why I said it earlier, that if the systems are expensive, then you have to be the incentive yourself to learn these things and start from. Because if we keep the perception of, okay, I need an accountant to file my taxes, I need so and so, it becomes a bigger system and we don't have the capital to start. Definitely, then that's where we shall start, that this market is for the big dogs. Yet, you can learn these things and start it small. That is one thing. And then again is, as I said, is in the free market, one's failure, you should not pray for one's failure for you to start.
Oh, yes.
That is one thing that other people think that, okay, you should not pray for one's failure to give you a rise or a leap.
If you are Equity, don't pray for Stanbic to fail for you to thrive.
Definitely. Now, you have to come in with strategies. Now, in competition, when you're coming in with competition, you don't... Like, if I want to create a television station, Digitalk has its niche, has its strategy, has its selling model. If I come with the same selling model, Digitalk will beat me with the advantage of time. It already has a privilege and the likes. Maybe I come with another media avenue, but with a different talking line. Now, in competition, you either have to be different. Different in way, in either speed or cheaper or better. Now, if you encompass those things, you enter into a market. Now, the problem is people wanting to be Madivani and you want to come as Madivani. Oh, Madivani grew through processes. So we have to understand this entire thing. And then again also is one other beauty of this entire free market system, because I really think it's a misconception to a larger extent where people look at capitalists as, you know, you're greedy and the likes. I saw a certain post on LinkedIn, someone saying, you know, Elon Musk earns money that can feed the entire African budget and the likes, and people were blaming him for that. This was the question I asked. I was like, what does Elon Musk do to get this money? Elon Musk provides literally internet to all the African continents to get back that money. Definitely, he's helping over 1.4 billion people have access to internet. Now, people don't look at what the other one is providing, they look at what they are earning. Now, in the free market is you focus so much in the value. A musician comes to one show and offers value of happiness to over 1 million people one night.
Yes.
And you want to blame the musician and compare to the doctor who treats one patient for like literally a month. These are different value scopes. These are different aspects. And this is how the market appreciates. Now, this is how the free market works. Now, people have to get deeper.
I think now I am going to be on the side of those who do not support capitalists, because you have just elaborated it in a way that wouldn't make me want to support it.
Okay, let me give a local example here. A very simple example like in this country. Let me talk of maybe Madivani and the likes. Now, Madivani may make all the resources we think and we look at them as really bad people. But then, if you take sugar, definitely Madivani is helping.
You're benefiting from his existence.
Now, by you benefiting, you're giving an appreciation token by buying the sugar. Now, because let's say 30 million people in Uganda buy the sugar. Definitely, Madivani is receiving an appreciation of 30 million people.
But that the same person is closing out those people that would want to come into business, doing the same business with him, because now he has the advantage of the money.
Now, wait, and now this is where the beauty comes in. So, the allegation here is Madivani should fail for others to come in the market? This is why we ask hard questions.
No, we do not want him to fail.
Okay.
But we do not want him to use to leverage on the advantage of having a lot of money to close out.
Am I allowed to ask me that? How do you think Madivani leverages? Madivani does marketing, right? How Madivani leverages within his power or their power is they do marketing, right? They employ highly skilled labor, right? They buy machinery, right? That is how Madivani leverages. I would buy the idea if it was government coming in place and saying no other sugar production unit should be there except Madivani.
Yes.
But if Madivani is using their comparative advantage of marketing skills and the likes, and not stopping, but maybe if Madivani was going to, let's say, to Agaga, I come from Agago, and says no one should produce sugar here, there I would have a problem, and I will be one of the campaign people to ensure Madivani is out of the country. But if Madivani concentrates on his marketing, concentrates on hiring highly skilled labor, concentrates on improving the quality of their product, and that is what they're using as an advantage to keep in the market, not this power of, government go, if there is someone creating another sugar company, kick them out. As far as Madivani is using their advantage. The same comes here to Digitalk. As far as Digitalk is continuously giving credible news, giving stuff, then I have no problem with Digitalk. Unless Digitalk is saying no any other platform should come and is using government to stop any other young
Close
person.
out.
Yes,
people.
that becomes now a problem. But if Digitalk concentrates employing high labor, going to the field, going to the staff, and is giving credible news, that becomes a comparative advantage for Digitalk to remain and stand in the market. And that is the beauty of the free market. That people will keep to Digitalk, not because it's just a media house, but it's going to the field and getting raw data and content. And it's going out and doing something. That is what makes them stand. So should we say, Okay, digital should give way because other people need to come to the market. Yet, digital is capitalizing on its marketing, credible, expensively sending its people to the field, doing all the things to keep in the market.
Yeah.
Should we say, leave the YouTubers, leave the TikTokers who are doing live and what to do business or digital,
close them out.
Stuff?
Yeah.
This is how we should look at this market thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to the youth and the free market economy. You said ignorance isn't it isn't allowed in the free market economy. But as a youth that is coming into business, that yes, I want to do business. You are asking me to first do research before I do a business. Go into now researching, understanding how to file returns, understanding how to formalize and all that. Because if I start immediately with formalization, URI is going to come for me even before I make a profit.
Okay, first, this gets us now to another cycle where we talk of the cycles of wealth. That one, where does wealth harbor, okay? Because one of our good definition of entrepreneurship is someone who sees value in problems. That is an entrepreneur. So even in your head, I think an entrepreneur is someone who sees value in problems, that you make value out of problems.
Okay.
That is an entrepreneur. But then again, you have to understand that now the cycle of wealth starts with one, first of all, wealth harbors in people, right? The relationships you build and the likes. I don't want us to first look at it like, okay, start registering. And how do you reach the point of, do I register, do I start a product in the market? Of course, definitely wealth harbors in people. You need to have people around you and stuff. So relationship building is key. That even when I start my informal product, the first consumers are the people who are next to me, right? And then again, of course, wealth harbors in skills and talents. These are some of the cheapest things you can start with. That if I'm a communicator, if I'm a speaker, I use that comparative advantage to really communicate. And then before I really, scale it off to the market, already some people know it. And then another thing where wealth harbors in knowledge.
Yeah, true.
In knowledge. Now that now comes to what I'm trying to say, that when you know something, wealth really harbors there. There are people who are paid for what they know, right? Or there are people who do what they know. There are two things. Doing what you know and you're paid for what you know.
Being paid for what you know.
Yeah. Those are
Which
also
one is
two
the
things.
best?
No, all are good. All work in the market. There are people who are consultants, experts, and the likes. Though the only difference is that it comes to now the dominant things in the market. The market is largely dominant by two things: either trade in goods or trade in services. So now those who are largely who use their expertise and knowledge and stuff are in the service sector.
Yeah.
Okay, they know something, they are paid as experts, and then those who can really manufacture and create something are in the goods sector. Okay, all are good for the economy. Though now the issue is about which one is scalable and which one is non-scalable as an individual.
Of course, goods are scalable as compared to services, but you go for what works for you.
Okay, it's not a campaign now for which one is better, but it would also come that services are easier to start than goods.
The goods, yeah, true.
Because goods are intensive, are capital intensive, it will start. And then at some point services are also scalable. Like, though within a service, like let's say digital offers a service of media and stuff, though they created a good, that's the entire avenue like this to really disseminate that. So attaching a good to the service to scale them, but what scales is the service. Yeah. So anyway, that's the goods and services. So after understanding those entire envelopes of where wealth really harbors, you have to understand that relationship building is key. This I'm not trying to now get into this entire talk of motivational speakers and the likes, but you don't sell to animals. The most important thing we have as people, I think, nature gives us is people. And why we are different from monkeys is because we trade. Monkeys eat, a monkey can eat a banana and it's okay. Yeah. But as an individual, if I don't put on a watch, if I don't put on a cloth, but do I make all? That's what we have to ask yourself. I don't make all of them. Okay? But there's something I may make and trade to others. So now that alone makes us be an absolute market. So the most important thing I think is relationship building. You can't come into this thing as a masterpiece of, that's my only advice to our youth. I have a problem. I've tried to deal so much with our fellow youth, but I think building trust, and the first incentive in the market as a young person, if you don't have capital, you don't have stuff, is trust building, and trust emanates from relationships. Yes, it's true. I do understand it's true. I also didn't start it off from a scale of capital and the likes. My background isn't that one that is so much harmonizing. But it's this relationship that some of us are surviving on the trust we establish, that you have access to capital, not because you created it or you own it,
but people
but
trust
because,
you.
yes, you will trust. I think that's the first important thing, that even before going into any other scale of stuff, you could be the highly skilled person. You could be the highly, technical person. But the trust element is so key, and trust germinates from relationships. So if it means to first build relationships, then nurture trust, then it's key. Then build the relationships as a youth. Build a relationship as, we have youth who think you can get a handout and you just make it. No, it's relationship. By the way, even if I am an individualist, I am a libertarian, but we are so much sensitive that an individual excels in a society. Even if an individual builds a society, but they excel, an individual can never excel in a vacuum. So the most important market we have are the relationships we build. I think the first thing to start is build a relationship, because anyone complaining about capital and the likes and the likes and the likes to start, or maybe the knowledge to start and the likes, try to first investigate on the relationship environment that they have. It's so much key. I think that's the most paramount, because learning how to file taxes is key.
Now that is even a bigger challenge in a situation that we are living in currently, because people are more onto themselves than them going out because of the social media issue, the digital era. It has made people reserve, come to themselves alone than going out to make connections. Yeah, and I think that is what media has done. Media has not created relationships, in my thinking. It has created what they call networks. You have a pot of people. You have. I had a friend. I'm sorry to say, I'm not decampaigning TikTok. I'm so poor at TikTok. So. Are you there? You have an account. I don't put anything. I did. But it is there. Yes, it is there. So I did see a friend of mine. He had, I think, 1,000 something. I was like, okay, how do can these 1,000 people reflect to maybe the business you do? He was like, oh, he just laughed at me. Then I'm like, are those relationships? Oh, those are just keeping you to this vacuum, this entire washing of people. So he goes to see how have they liked the stuff, how many videos have they liked and likes. So I'm not decampaigning social media. It's a vehicle. Yeah. But true relationships are not hybrid. They are physical. Media, they are physical. Relationships are created on bond. Actually, it's a big issue you've raised here, that actually we're into an era whereby our privacies are being invaded, but not invaded because we are open to it. Yeah. They are being invaded by what? And the real us, because the real you is who you are when there's nobody watching, right? True, yes. So, and the real us is getting lost in social media. That every step, people are not using it for business. But I think I get back to this and I say, relationships are key. I have started businesses and I do business. I'm in the market space. But I see 94% is the relationships I build. Wow. Then the knowledge, of course, the knowledge to utilize the relationship is key. I could not file the taxes. I could know how to register the businesses. I could know. But what is the primary? What is the primary stuff that leads me to there? I remember the first ever initiative we did start, it were friends that actually were coming together. And they became the first ever clients. Of course, I've started those that have failed and those that are... So as a student that is finishing university, can you just, mention for me steps into relationship building? Are there platforms? I have always advocated for people to socialize, go out there, have a belonging. Okay, go to church. Have a group you belong to. But now I want you to kind of draw for us steps of how someone can, try to kind of build the relationships, important relationships. Okay, yeah, that's key. You have made some good example of church. We have a lot of initiatives. I have reserved thoughts about church and religion, but it is bringing people together. Yes, so okay. If looking for social stuff, I'm okay. Though there are tribal gatherings and the likes. Yes. My only problem with those is you're gathering because you think you have something in common. True. Now there are these open-minded gatherings. We have the Rotaries. We have, let's say, these libertarian networks. And this is where people are not gathering because we speak the same language or because we believe in a certain God together. Because we believe in Jesus or Muhammad. Yes. Here people are all like open-mindedness, right? People are coming together like, oh, we are different. I know we are different. But when I'm in church, we think we are equal. We think we are stuff. But even if I am a libertarian, we are coming together because we believe in a certain economy that we all think is the right one. So there is something bringing us together.
The beauty scope, yeah, though it is open mind in a way that
it isn't forced on
to provoke you. Okay. You know, any environment that can provoke you. The problem with religion and tribe will not provoke you. Tribe will try to sell to you how good is your tribe and stuff. So you come out really a little bit contented. If the same is with the religion. It may either excite you or enlighten you and the likes. So I think these environments that come, and trust me, they are open. They are open. There are business conferences that do happen, and they're open. There are girl initiatives that do come in here, and they're open. I think that actually you have really made it. You have said you actually agitate for these people to go. It's very key. It's not, some of us, that's where we have gained most of our gatherings. That even while still at campus, I'd get time. Conferences go to universities, free.
True.
To your surprise,
people don't attend.
Still not attend. And they want to get out of the economy with a transcript that cannot relate with someone. Now, actually, it's a very pertinent issue that those who are listening to this event, it's key to build site. They are open, they are free. Now, there comes a time, like a level you reach, like where we are, like you now pay to go into some. But in the such scales, the organizations are coming to campuses, you're going to campus debates and the likes. They are free. And these are things that will open up your mind. We just yesterday, but on Tuesday, we were at Chambogo University. We took a lawyer, teach these students contracts, what are contracts, what are memorandum of understanding, what are sales agreements, what are all these, how do you register, how do you allocate shares, voting rights, teaching these things. But definitely we had around 60 students in a university that has over 30,000.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is so much important because that is whereby now students who are in such a session now know that a company is not, do not have to first be a schedule to start a company. Definitely, these are the first baby steps that are key, and that's why I said ignorance is not an incentive in the market. In a market, the market has two people, has a victim and a victor, and there are two moralities of those people: a slave morality and a master morality. All are moralities, but one is a slave morality.
Yes,
and one is a master
morality. Yeah.
Yes. All are moral, they are justifiable. You'll say, I can't do it, the economy is bad. It's moral, it's good, it's justifiable, but it's a slave morality. It's a slave morality. And then there's a master morality who say, how can I do it? How can I make it? How can I do it? I know I may not be a Madivani and stuff, but I'll be like, how can I? Like most of my times I'm taking to watch documentaries of failed businesses that might have failed, or maybe how this entire started, or how all this thing is done.
Can you just look at our education system and analyze it in the lens of a libertarian economy? Like, how should it be? Paint for us a picture, because the education system of Uganda, creates more of job seekers, people who don't want to start their own businesses, but they are very willing to be employed and given some money, like you have said. I do not, because that sounds harsh, you got to read your time, they give you money. And now I am trading my time here, so it sounded really harsh. So, can you just, analyze for us the education system in the lens of a libertarian economy? How would that be?
Okay, thanks. I don't want us to be disastrous. You could, where I can say you could not be trading your time so badly is, you can't be here. This is what they call scaling time. You can't be here, and there's maybe another business running outside there. It's yours. Within the same time, you're actually doing 10 things. Yet there is one person whom in the 24 hours is doing one thing, but is doing it for one person who is doing other things. So, okay, that's the entire psychology of time as a resource in the market. It's key, of course, with time. Okay, yes, you talked about the education system, about raising job seekers, is it and the likes. First and foremost, I, for one, think school or education should be a product in the market. It should be a product in the market. Though with a system like this, now I didn't want to go so much into politics, but now we have to, because
politics runs everything.
Yes, it either associates or it runs. Now you'll have to understand that the motive of education, we have to get back to the roots of how the schools were built. You'll have to understand they were built in the Industrial Revolution. That is when the J.D. Rockefellers were trying to thrive through this They were trying to thrive through their oil industry and the
So what was the whole motive of starting schools?
Yeah, it was to train people to work in those factories. That's why English was key for communication, and then mathematics, because there
it was all about business.
Yeah, that is, it was created. Though with time, of course, systems had to come and say, oh, this could be an environment to build society. Okay, that is key. Now, with Uganda's system, I want to a little bit be, I did engineering, right?
Yes.
And at some point, you know, when you're trying to do designs and stuff, you say, according to BS. What does BS mean? It's according to British standards. I am in Uganda. I'm studying in Uganda. Now, this is a humble appeal now. I am in Uganda. We have an opportunity for research. Can't we research and make Ugandan standards? Up to today, a British standard that was developed way back, years back, channeled through our curriculum, and we are being raised through it. Now, up to today, we design a building, and I confidently sit and say, according to British standards. If their soils were a little bit, let's say, if their soils were weak, that they have to dig their foundation to 8 feet down, and our soils are strong, we are digging 8 feet down just because they were stuck. We build expensively, we build stuff. So
yet you could do it cheaply if you analyze and did research.
Yeah, and this comes to, when I was joining university,
yes,
you know, I thought I was going to create knowledge. You know, that is my thinking, because I was like, oh, I've been really doing more of testing my memory in high school. So I thought, oh, now in university, that's why I started now nurturing ideas. Like, oh, I'll go there, and now I'll try to see how to make this out of this and this. So that's what I thought. I reached university, and it was literally the same thing. Like, oh, they would teach me engineering, must test me whether I mastered that. I was like,
yes.
So I realized that now the education system are largely, more especially the tertiary, because these young ones, it's okay. The high school is being changed in a way. But then I think the tertiary institution should be more of like, can the education system help build people who create knowledge? You know, there is a research that was done by a gentleman who tested, back then they were doing 25 points and like. He tested a number of students who got 4 in primary 7. He followed them up to senior 4. Some got 8, some dropped off a bit. He followed those very people.
Senior 6.
Senior 6, some got 25, some dropped off. He followed them to university. Some got first class. Now his entire thing was like, if school is saying these people are really special, because if school is a standard of society, then these people should really be unique in society.
Exactly.
To his disappointment, these very people went into the same environment with other people who might have not made it in that way. Now, what are we saying? That school should be an environment to let people discover and excel themselves off much, not to be an environment of knowledge consumption. You only consume and only go to reproduce what you consumed, but rather should be an environment to also trigger and also let the light within individuals or students. It's very few people, the case in point like I did. I took school as an environment.
For you to learn and identify your capacities.
Yes, and definitely I think by the time I was graduating, I'd already registered a company because of the enlightenment, like going to sessions and stuff. But 80% of my colleagues couldn't. I became a consultant to some of them. So
that's why someone is asking me, where did you learn all of this?
By the way, I didn't study economics. That's now the surprising thing. That's why I'm saying.
So how did you learn economics?
When you understand that we are all slaves in the economy, we are all victims of vulnerable to the market. You have to understand that besides politics, each of us have to interest themselves in the market and economics. That is a bold truth. People are interesting themselves largely on religion and stuff, and you're living, you say, I'm not politics, and so definitely politics will come and hit you. And then you're saying, I'm not an economist, I don't really want to, but the economy will come and hit you. So when I understood those two things.
But you also realize that the aspects where people just feel like, I cannot understand those things even if I want to try, even if I try. Like, the people who will say, I don't understand that kind of, you know, the theme of NEDPs, how they work and everything. And because it is in your mind, you just don't understand it. Even if you want to understand the economics of Uganda, even if you paid attention to it, you just find yourself not understanding the thing.
I think then people should, I think it's then to get to understand the basic economics. And then again also, I want to now get this to a little bit be of a motivation.
And somehow, economics and everything, I think it is a mindset that they create from high school. They kind of make commerce feel like it's really hard. And then when we go to high school, to HSC, they make economics really hard. And then when you come into the real world, you do not want to associate with anything economics, because they have created the fear in you that you cannot understand it. It is really hard. It is for a few people that can understand the maths and the subtractions.
I'll come into with 2 sentences. There's one sentence most times when you're talking to people and people are like, government help us, government help us. Then I'd be like, if you think you can live at the expense of the government, are you aware that the government lives at the expense of everybody?
That is true.
So, meaning you're crying to the person who lives at your expense. Now the same comes to the economy. You know, when you're saying, you know, the economy is for the other and the likes, definitely economy is not for anybody, it's for us. We are all victims of the market.
It's for
you're either supporting it, or you're either participating in it, producing in it, or you're consuming in it. Now the issue is, are you an informed consumer, or are you an informed producer in that market? Now the issue, that's why I told you, ignorance is not an incentive in the market. Because if you are an uninformed consumer, you're a weak consumer. Okay, these are some things that I don't think we should sugarcoat and really babysit here. Yeah. Because if we definitely want to grow the economy, we need to take radical steps. I'm sorry to say that there's a time I'm one of the person who, I'm sorry to say for those who benefited from it, I'm one of the person who is like, no, PDM is something that shouldn't have really come out of a sensible economic mind. You can't raise people from poverty by giving them handouts. You build their capacity and create an enabling environment. Building capacity does not mean giving them
money.
Building capacity is create these initiatives where they can go get skilled. Oh, I gave an example.
Initiatives are there. Skilling Uganda.
Then drive people to go to the initiatives. Then based on those skills, that's when you create an enabling environment for them. As I said, if you really wanted to give money, this is my own analysis. If you go to the village and get someone who has a chapati stall, give that person 2 million, task them to create 2 more chapati stores and employ the unemployed. Yeah. That person has the capacity, not so, because they have mastered the art, they have tried, they have failed. They have But now come to someone who has never created anything.
Give them money.
Give them the money.
Tell them to start something.
They are at the verge of consumption. Yes. What will they do? They will consume.
They'll consume.
Now, that's the entire logic and stuff, and that works, and I'm like, okay, this is it. But I want to encourage people. This is not something of saying it's for these people or for the other people. Economics is not for anyone. It's for all of us. We are all victims of slaves in the market, unless someone wants to be average. If you want to be average, then play that card. If you're employed, okay you are in the economy. Are you understanding that employment contract you have? Are you understanding? These are the things we are trying to task
Some people just sign contracts. They don't even
That is the thing. You're signing a contract, the mandatory leaves are not even quoted, the staff are not quoted, then you're submitted to Yambe. You didn't read the contract, you didn't staff. We really have to understand these things. Like, I'm one of the person who tries to say the excuse box is enough. Africa has thrived so much on the excuse box. Yes, we operate below the line. You know, below the line, you're always defensive, you always, you know, stuff. And then above the line, of course, you assume responsibility. You say, yes, enough has been enough. If I've not been really following anything of politics and economics, actually, I've really been messing up. But from now, I can act on it and take
I think we are comfortable making lamentations than taking action.
And that is operating below the line. And trust me, it creates 2 societies. Above the line society and below the line society. That as we are crying for the ancestors, is it compensate our fathers you took as slaves and stuff, we are forgetting that we can really actually build and start over. So definitely, I really think it's an excuse. 2 things I think actually, if it was actually put in the curriculum, other than maybe English. English, of course, is because language is key.
It is a medium of communication, yes.
Yes, language is key. Then, the problem is economics was made to things that people really live on in the market. People consume, people trade.
I think they should make it compulsory for people to understand.
But also simplify it to average economics.
Yeah, true.
It's like if you bring chemistry and someone is sleeping on a mattress, which is a chemist, and then you're continuously teaching it as benzene. I did chemistry. You're complicating it as...
You did chemistry? Did you find it simpler as compared to other subjects? Because...
I think
now, if you did a chemistry, now you understand how I'm saying, where I'm coming from when I say that
I did physics, chemistry, and math, and they looked simpler for me than even history and stuff. But then actually, my interest in economics came while I was leaving university. Oh. When I realized, wait a minute, where am I going? I found a certain colleague who told me, Arthur, oh, you're getting ready to get out of the market. I'm like, yeah. Then he told me, Arthur, come and show you the newspapers. I used not to read newspapers. They would open for me, I would see, call for bids, call for tenders. He told me, are you seeing that they're advertising more business than more jobs here? Oh, then it's like, how understand how to play in this than just trying to look for what is not really being advertised here. There is more business being advertised outside than more jobs.
Yes, true.
So after that, that's when I had to understand. Now, I started reading the budget. I was one person who used not to read the budget. But I read the budget. Now, this is what I'm interested in citizens. You're crying, oh, give us the stuff and stuff. But the government allocates, gives a budget. There is development. Of course, there is a payment of wages. Government is always in two ways. Yes. Budget is in two ways. Then you don't even understand what allocation has been put into the development fund of your district, in your area, of your parish. You know, after I realized I had to interest myself in such things to know, oh, if Terego has gotten this much in development funds, meaning much of the resources and attention is going to develop infrastructure and what in Terego, yes, or supplies in this and this and this in Terego. So definitely I now have to start building relationships in Terego or seeing how to get to Terego.
Yes, to be able to do business in
like
such
you
a
know
sector.
Where the money is going. When these campaigns are coming, climate campaigns are coming into the country, you have to understand when the budget has come and much of this money has gone here, this is where the path is going. Definitely, if you really want to be a participant in the market, it's key. Okay, it may not be for everybody. As I said, we are equal. Someone may not give in the effort to read. Someone may not give it. And do you think results will be the same? That's why I'm not a proponent of equality. I'm a proponent of equity, equal space, equal opportunity. Let the bids keep coming in the newspapers. Those who can read should read.
Let the ground be leveled. Let us all compete.
Let it be open. Like bids stuff and do workout. The first ever time I participated into bidding and stuff, I realized, oh, I thought this is for only.
But they also say in such sectors where we are doing bidding, it is also some kind of, there is a lot of gatekeeping, there is a lot of hand picking, even if you put in your bid, they already have someone that they would wish to do the services for them.
It's important. I had the news here and some talk on corruption and the likes and stuff. I think, of course, there are always weaknesses in the entire thing, but then the weaknesses do exist. Yes, I do know. Of course, I participate. I know a lot of those things that do happen. But then again, most times there are criteria that they base on to tick who gets the tender. Oh. So winning it is another thing, but also participating in it and learning and knowing, oh, this is what happens here.
Knowing how it works.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean that the first ever participation we won, no. But okay, this is what works. It's just like the politics and the economy. You have to understand it's not a gateway, it's not an easy runoff. Yeah.
You talk about corruption, it has always been a major barrier, okay, in our mixed economy. It is a major barrier. Don't we see privatization worsening it now that it will have the elites having more power over the other and we're seeing corruption going up?
I will start with the quote which says that if government decides whom to buy and whom to sell from, then the first person to buy and sell is what? Isn't it the government? Now that comes down to what I was talking about, the limited government. If the government limits its roles to only ensuring the fair play, the contracts are being obeyed as they are, and leaves the private individuals playing, there will be lesser reasons to buy the government to coerce the market. That's one thing. Then my other say about corruption, my only say, in case the state takes it on, is, why corruption is everywhere, of course I know, but why it is so rampant in some economies, let's say like ours, is I think because of the analog kind of money transaction. Do you know if money was digitalized, it would be hard for people to carry money in sacks.
There are a lot of scams in digital money.
No, I mean mobile money, banking and stuff. I am not talking about
the digital Forex coins and yes. Forex
I'm talking about
trading.
If Bank of Uganda, instead of printing hard cash, issues out digits to the bank system, to the bank, to the parliament, to the state house, to the stuff. Now, any money that gets out, of course, is digitally tracked.
Yeah, you can know.
But people carry money in sacks. Do you track it? So
But do you know we lost money digitally, just of recent? Do you remember?
And the issue's in court. And anyways, corruption is a big vice, and it's a political question. You see, that's why I say excuses of saying stuff and what. Corruption is a political question. That it's a political will to curb corruption. Like, I don't really think because, okay, there's corruption and embezzlement. Now, there's people in churches start saying, oh, everyone is corrupt, even you're corrupt. You know, trying to make corruption look like it's part of everybody is the problem of it. Let's first handle corruption as a political issue. That corruption, because if someone is consuming funds that had to construct a road, how then do you tell me, who may just through my covetousness has done a small scale, and then you say, oh, you're all corrupt, don't blame anyone for corruption. Let's handle it first as a political issue. Okay. Then it gets to becoming a moral issue.
We have talked about the people, the money, and the markets. Now we want to know how citizens can come in to kind of reduce over-dependence on the government. What role do they have to play?
Okay, that's key. And that comes back to, you know, about the other entire session of the wealth and stuff. You know, wealth is owned and value is created out of it, then it is traded and exchanged. Now, owning wealth comes back to understanding what is wealth. Wealth is in people, is in your skills and talents and the like. Now, I think people should look at themselves larger. That's why the individualism is key. Knowing yourself. You know, we're in a society whereby people are living a version of what they have been raised to believe they are. But then, yet you understand that you hardly trade what you believe, you trade what you are. So if you are living a version that you already precipitated by
someone just created, that
isn't you, then it makes you a little bit to be rigid in the way you operate. That's why you find it hard. Now the only issue is you always demand and be dependent on the stuff. But then, of course, for those who have already gone through that sequence and equation, we have to understand that as citizens, I think instead of lobbying for handouts and incentives, let's lobby for a free space to trade. Okay. Let's lobby for a free space to trade. Like, let's lobby that to get so easy. Let this entire knowledge formalization of stuff be broken down to the simplest way that even you, I would wish actually citizens would advocate that the entire system of URSB maybe be decentralized to even local languages. Because if you only keep it share value, voting rights, all those things, people it may, yes, and then maybe partnerships, and people don't understand what a partnership is, because if you're registering just a small business, you need other partners. I think that's what people should interest themselves in, ensuring that, okay, if this is a thing, let's really break it down. And then again, as citizens should also, I interest citizens in politics. Not to run and participate, but rather to also
follow what is happening.
To follow what's happening.
Pay attention to
there are pledges being made through manifestos. I was on a certain talk show and they were telling me they are protecting gains, and I'm like, okay, the issue is let's now start questioning, are there gains? You know, that's where, you know, we have to really start.
Of course, you cannot protect what isn't there. Then there must be gains.
Now to who, and then start. Now that's where now the questions have to come in.
Now those are the necessary questions I'm asking people to ask.
Yes, people have to ask, and people have to interest themselves in politics. Not to go into these rallies just because, you know, is it a gali, is it what, you know. People have to a little bit be objective, because at the end of it all, it backfires too. You the individual. You're the individual. Okay. You know, the power of the crowd is there to let you think, oh, Tulimuchino, all of us. But the real you is who you are when there's nobody watching, you know? Like, the power of the crowd has this entire thing of putting that excitement, you know, that entire thing when you're running on a rally, and it ends there. What are you picking in as you? You know, some people, if you ask people, that's one thing I want to do, a research we want to do after is to ask people of the manifestos. Ask citizens, not the politicians. Yes. You're going to say, oh, are you voting based on manifesto, or you're just saying this is my party? Because most times when you're voting, you should say, I'm voting a government that is going to make it this based on the manifestos. That to some point makes sense. Though, and that's my problem with democracy, that 100 idiots will tell, I'm sorry to say it is hard, 100
You have
fools,
always been hard since you started this show.
100 fools will have the power to tell who leads the 10, so-called wise or stuff. That's the only weakness in democracy that is unchecked. But we only lure people to really know that, okay, even if the other one, that also not only should you know the manifesto of the party you think you're supporting, but also the other party. Because any can win. That's the issue with the democracy. But if it has won, do you know the manifesto that you should hold them accountable on? You know, that is so key. That our interest is to really...
Well, as we come to the end of the show, as a libertarian, what is that one tax that if given chance you would abolish immediately, and why?
The one tax is, there is the corporate tax.
What's that? Explain that to the people.
Oh, now that is so much good. Corporate tax is tax that is okay for people who are formal. After doing business, at the end of the year, you know, at the end of everything, you file and you report that, okay, these are the profits I've made, and you pay 30% of those profits after reducing the expenses and the likes. Now, why am I saying it's bad is, you know, the moment you really show someone that I'll penalize you for progressing, someone will always want to prove
they
I'm
are
not progressing. Now, somehow, you're going to get data that is not aligned. We should be in a society whereby you're rewarding progress, not punishing progress. That's whereby many will participate. In a situation whereby you say, oh, after today you've made, in profit, I've made 100 million. So, because after reducing expenses and the like, so you have to pay 30%. Now, this is logical asking. I'm paying 30% of 100 million. That is 30 million as taxes. Now, the only reason here is I have to create a lot of expenses as possible so that I tell you I've only made 10 million, so that I pay 3 million. Now, what does that one bring in a way that it first of all even brings the miscalculations into culture of development? Those that you think, oh, our companies are not doing well, you know, startups are failing in 1 year because they are reporting to you that they are not making any profit, so that you should not tax them. Then another tax also that is some point I have a problem with is there's what they call a provisional returns. You know, the provisional returns is more of like expecting to make. But on what you're expecting to make, you have to pay.
They are taxing you for that?
Yes.
It's like, it's something I have not made, but I am expecting. Why are you taxing me?
Like you say, this year, and of course most times, that's why I think businesses hardly report progress. Like this year I may report, oh, I'm expecting to make 2 million. Do you know that an invoice, a PRN, will be generated 30% of 2 million? And you have to pay. I haven't made it. I haven't started, but it's money that I'm now going to be demanding. I may not pay it then, but they give me a duration up to start. Then I'd be like, so which means I have to report.
Yeah, I am expecting to make a 300,000.
300,000.
Such that you paid 30% of the 300.
And now the problem comes if, then which means in the file I will also now report, oh, I was going to expect it to make, then I'll let me report this. Now, somehow it keeps me into the shamble of, you know, you have to communicate being small, yet the economy has to grow with transparency. I think those two are taxes. And that's why our young people don't want to, because at the time you tell, oh, make a tin number, oh, then by the time they do provision, hey, I have to pay. So those two taxes, I think, have to be rethought.
I remember one time walking to you and asking them why are they taxing me over stuff I don't even understand. There were a lot of money being charged and over stuff I don't even
And they start asking, how do you eat? How do you...
Yes, how do you survive if you're not making money? How are you making this one survive? Why is your stuff there? And all those questions. But
anyway,
so it is a lot that we have to learn in regards to taxes, in regards to your economy. If you are going into business, you need to do a lot of information searching. Last time, I think on Tuesday, the executive director of NPA, National Planning Authority, was telling us if someone has information, they are richer than you.
Yeah.
They are richer than you. So let us go do information finding. Don't just read, you know, be intentional. What exactly are you reading and where are you reading? So I would want to ask Mr. Arthur to give us his parting shots and we close this show.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much for hosting me once again, and thanks very much. I think my only parting shot is largely gets to the individual. You know, I'm so much passionate about the individual because I think if the individual understand themselves as an individual, you have greater power to exercise in society. So I for one, I do encourage the individual that the power of the crowd should only be an enabler to your thriving, not a distraction. Because sometimes power of the crowd makes you, oh, we are many in this. You know, we are many suffering. We are many who don't know economics. We are many who don't do this.
Yes.
And that power of the crowd is...
Oh, this thing of I am not the only one.
Yeah, and that. You find it okay.
Yes.
I think take it on an individual helm and, you know, dissociate yourself from the power of the crowd, but rather utilize it as an enabling force. I think that's my only encouragement, the individual. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Arthur, for coming in here. You were just doing, you know, people were in class learning. And it is great that I am seeing people, you know, bringing in comments like, he should come back, he should come back. I think you should start paying him because now this is a lesson is that being paid. He said you are either being paid for something or you are using what you know to do something. So if he has something that he knows, I think you guys should start paying him to give you these kind of lessons. It has been a very, very informative show. I hope you have learned one or two things. Even if you are not in business, you should learn one or two things from this show. He said, if the resources are not there, depend on your resourcefulness. Depend on your resourcefulness. What do you know? Depend on that. Go out there, you know, create connections. It will help you. I want to thank you who have followed us from 8 a.m. up to here where we are closing our show. You did a great job. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. we'll be here in Obuwangwa Nenono with Mr. Mokose Arnold Anthony. I want to wish you a good day. Enjoy.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues,